RTI can contribute to government accountability. Efforts to the limit the rulers' authority over the ruled is as old as human history. It is a subject that has occupied the minds of social thinkers and philosophers of all major civilizations since ancient times. Modern parliaments are the outcome of the search for balanced systems of governance. However, people place obeisance to the ruling authority extends for social compact that ensures their predictions and well-being. The concept of government's accountability to the people was born in the process. In parliamentary democracy, it forms the basis for people trusting the government and the latter's answerability to the people. People choose their representatives to represent the interests in parliament and raise their concerns with the government on matters of governance. The purpose is to ensure that government activities are corruption free, guided by law, and service public good. Over time, as the concept of people's sovereignty of the state became more concretized, the need for other measures of government accountability during the tandem. It increased further with the rise of authoritarianism's global and attendant efforts to muzzle parliaments, often turning them into robust bodies. And the call for supplementary and alternative methods of accountability increased accordingly. An important development in this regard was the restoration of the Freedom of Information Act, which was first introduced by Sweden in 1766, but remained largely limited to a few Western nations. It was only in the latter parts of the last century, more particularly during the southern spurt of democracy in the aftermath of the Soviet Union's dissolutions, that a large number of countries adopted the FOI law in various other names, including the Right of Information's RTA Act. The law provides a platform for citizens to intervene directly with government bodies to promote transparency and accountability in their work. While citizens are empowered directly by judicious use of the Right to Information Act, members of parliament can use the law to advance the interest of their constituents too. In fact, in many countries, parliamentarians or their staffs often use the law to obtain information, normally undisclosed by the government, or to probe government activities. It is resorted to more than such times. The Right to Information Act law provides an opportunity for all concerned citizens of the land, including lawmakers, to turn to the law to fill the gaps. It will be underscored that the Arts Act is available to all citizens of the land, irrespective of their vocations. Let us end with a real thing. One example to illustrate the types of issues susceptible to such interventions. In instance, of an Bergela, Dinajpur district submitted an RTI request to the local branch of Lers Bank last year, asking for the list of recipients who benefited from a government stimulus package for farmers to help them overcome financial difficulties caused by the COVID 19 pandemic. Upon receiving the request, the bank authorities reportedly resorted to various escort tactics to force the applicant to withdraw his application, including by threatening him with criminal prosecutions. The applicant finally came to know that the stimulus and fund had mostly been disbursed among business people, and hence the bank authorities are not inclined to provide the list. The applicant refused to give in to pressures and insisted on his rights as provided in the RT Act. As a result, the bank finally sent him a written response claiming that the requested information could not be disclosed as it fell within the purview of the exemption clause under the RT Act. The applicant then applied to the appeal authority of the bank, stating inter alia that the information requested was public information and did not relate to any individual private information, and therefore it could not be considered exempt. In the meantime, several other citizens submitted the same RTA request to the bank. On receipt of the affair and being faced with additional requests of the same natures, the bank authorities organized a meeting with the applicant at the house of a prominent local businessman. There, the pleaded for mutually acceptable solutions, unable to withstand their relentless pressures. The applicant felt compelled to give in exchange for promise to stop all future lifeless of this nature. Subsequently, the applicant received a response to his appeal. On basis of the complaints and following discussions between the two sides, specific mistakes have been identified, and the concerned sections of the banks have been directed not to repeat such mistakes in the future. A basic objective of Bangladesh RTA Act is to ensure that corruption shall decrease. Assuming the effect of the pandemic is an issue which has occupied the minds of many, including our parliaments, since the beginning of the crisis. While this story shows the difficulties that citizens face in making use of the law, it also highlights the tremendous potential of the law to fight corruption in public world. Hopefully, most citizens, including our socio-political leaders, will join this who are tend to make use of the law to address important public issues. Thank you all.